The theme of the exhibition, where the wild things are, relates to my practice and me as an artist. It relates to me in such a way that my work has evolved, and also the material I use is more like, for me, I look at it like wild, because these are the materials I used when I was young, and I was just wild with them. They were just in the trash, on the walkways, everywhere you can just get these materials. Basically, they're metallic materials, if I may say. So it's just wild to me how art became part of the material, or the material became part of the art in a wild way. And for me, creating and experimenting with things, it's not shaped, it is not planned, it is just wild, if I may say. So those are the wild things for me. Yeah. The works relate to the exhibition in such a way that the materials I used and the approach I used was a little bit wild, because the inspiration of all these pieces you're seeing was from my young sister who was sweeping in the morning, and for us in our culture, it's the boys to sweep. So my sister was resting after sweeping, and then it was just a very perfect posture for me, or pose for me, that I just took a picture of her, and it inspired the whole series, Women Resting. So it was a little bit wild for me, because how a lady would sweep the compound in the context of our culture, and it is me, the man or the guy, to sweep. So isn't that wild? So that's how it connects with the exhibition, The Wild Things. I make art, first of all, to express myself, and I make art because there's nothing else I could do besides doing art. So those are some of the reasons as to why I create art. And for me personally, and my personality is, it's difficult for me to just express myself verbally. So I use more of art to express myself and to challenge myself in some way. And if I'm emotionally also maybe drained or unstable, it's only art that does it for me. Because for me, I create art in different forms, like sculptures, paintings, performances, and very soon maybe doing some music and poetry. Yeah, so those are the reasons as to why I do art. I'm inspired by different people and also myself. I'm inspired by there's a British photographer called Othello, who has been part of my mentors, if I may say, and also inspired by my surroundings where I used to stay, and my childhood, where for us we collected everything, and we used to play. If I may call it in my own way, we used to play like art. We used to play with clay. We used to play with wires, creating these cars with wires. We used to make a lot of things. I believe that's why I got to understand that I'm going to be an artist. Though at that time I didn't know that it's called art. For me, it was playing. So particularly, that is what inspires me, and partly the people who inspire me. Because also when I went to art school, I read a lot of books and a lot of poetry, let me say, and those people, like in the books, inspired me a lot to be an artist. The most enjoyable part in my process is like the challenge of creating something, because my ideas come from maybe a particular thing, and I want to see that thing develop or come out in an artistic form. So that challenge to maneuver and create that thing the way I visualize it in my mind or in my head. That is the most amazing thing for me, because at some point when I achieve that, sometimes I abandon that piece and just move on to something else which is more challenging to me. So the challenge is the thing for me, yeah, in my creation process. The most frustrating part of the process is when I don't have the vibe to create, when I'm feeling low that day. So I tend to find motivation by just keeping on working and creating. Though sometimes you're like, no. And also the material I use, sometimes it involves a lot of pain, whereby you prick yourself, you have to stitch. But then, actually, most of the works I create, they involve a lot of pain. Yeah, I have a lot of creative blocks. Since I create, I deal in a vast kind of artistic forms. I have my guitar in my studio. I have my trumpet. I just play those equipments so that at least I forget that I'm working on a particular kind of art, whereby if I get back to creating like painting or stitching or sculpting, at least my mind has been enjoying something else. Or sometimes I take walks, like I love walking, or listen to a lot of music, or even just go and hang out with friends. But mostly music does it for me very much. For me, I believe art is for enjoying. It's that is if I'm speaking as a creative, but I believe also art is a medium that keeps us alive. Like it's something that keeps us alive. Just imagine if we didn't have art in on this planet, or anyways we would survive, would find a way. But now that we have it, just imagine when we were in the lockdown and we didn't have art. I think people are going to die, because music was like something that made us to pass through these challenging times. Movies, this is still art. Like for me, during the lockdown, I was sculpting, painting. So for me, I think art is life for me. Yeah, without art, it's like breathing. Everything will just look white and black, and anyway, still that is art. But it will just look like a vacuum, something where nothing, like, will just die, I think. Art can change a lot of things, even the political sense of it, because in South Africa it was music that changed, like that gave them a little bit of freedom. Of recent, there is one of the members of parliament, Julius Malemo, who sang a song they sang during the apartheid, and was like, shoot the Boer. That's how they used to sing it. But then there's a way he was singing it. He brought it back, and he was being charged in court, and he stood by his word. So that also, like, that only shows you that art is a powerful tool that can change a lot of things. Look at Bobby Wine also. He's been expressing a lot of things in his music. My work, there's a recent work I created called Muwawa, which is translated as Without Care in Luganda. And it was my experience where I was attacked by live ammunitions and tear gas, yet I'm in my private space. So the only way I could express all this was to create a piece of art. I couldn't go to the streets because I can't afford that. I still love my life, and I still have to create a lot of art. So I think art is a powerful tool to change a lot of things, not politically only, but in different senses, like emotions. Art can heal people. Like mentally. Yeah, art is a huge part of change. It is like fuel. It changes a lot of things. So yeah. Initially, when I'm going to create a piece, it comes from my heart, like it comes from me. I'm not thinking about the viewer. Maybe in the middle, that's when I'll be like, not the viewer, but for me, I call that person like a connector, like someone who connects with the work. A person who connects with the work is more like, that is the person for me. If a person connects with the work and then they give you another story, like, oh, this reminds me of this, or I'm connected with this kind of work because, oh, this particular piece because of this and this, for me, that makes me, like, actually that opens a channel for questions or interactions, and we speak around like what we are working on or that specific piece. It can also inspire another piece, maybe in the same vein, yeah. 2 years back, I was struggling, like really struggling, mentally, physically, economically, everything. And it's been a journey for me. And a lot of things have evolved, a lot of things have changed. But the most thing that has changed is my confidence about my work, because I couldn't just stand there and show people my work just like that. I was self-doubting myself and my work. And also, I've developed a lot of techniques, and also just the quality of the work also has changed for me. With the residencies I've been in Mali, whereby I got introduced to a lot of materials and how you can use any material to create art. At Silhouette projects, where I got to understand how to sculpt, like creating 3D objects. So it has been, yeah, yeah, there's a lot of change that has occurred like with my work, and I'm proud of that, and I believe still more is coming. Yeah. I don't know if I'll make it within the 5 years, but if I do, I think even next year a lot is going to be like too much. I believe my work is going to be on another level. Yeah, on another level, and I'm just viewing at myself creating amazing work and more powerful work than now, because the thought processes I'm putting in my work and the time I'm putting in my work is valuable, and it is too much now than way back when I didn't give my work a lot of time and just creating maybe for fun or what. But this, all the years I've worked, probably like 10 years now, I want to give them value. Yeah, they were not just a walkover, or they were not just something to play with, just like that. So I'm going to give it value by putting a lot in my work.